everyone, it's Liza with Gatehouse with some tips for your NYU Stern MBA application. I love this application because it is a mix of practical and creative, so I hope you enjoy it. The first question is a goal statement question. The school gives you 150 words to discuss your short-term career goals. 150 words will go by quickly, but it gives you enough room to be very clear about what those goals are. So you've got some room to really think about not only the role, the function, the type of company that you seek, but also the impact of what you want to achieve in that role and the skills and the learnings that you want to acquire in that role. Note that they don't ask you for your future, your long-term goals. Perhaps there is a way to mention them if that makes sense. And the other thing that can make sense to incorporate is some sort of why. Why are these short-term goals important to you? How do they relate to where you've been? An essay that is forward-looking and only forward-looking can be a little bit harder to really believe. But if you share some of your past experiences, it will lend credibility to your future goals as long as it makes sense. So in some ways, I think of this as a very, very short career statement essay. And with the career statement, generally it's, okay, where am I headed and how does it relate to where I've been? And why is school X the bridge between where I'm headed and where I've been? For this one, you're only focused on the very immediate future, but you still want to give some context to how it relates to where you've been. The second essay is the change it essay. So it's change blank it. And what they really want to understand at Stern is, how do you think about change? How do you embrace change? How do you incorporate change? In fact, they give some examples of what you might put in that blank. It could be dare it, embrace it, champion it, whatever it might mean. What do you do with change? Don't get too tripped up on the word itself. That's my first tip. A lot of times we'll have clients that think so hard of a creative word of what they want to say about change. That's not the point of this essay. This essay is more to see you in action. How have you incorporated this version of change in your own life? The second part of the question asks for you to share how you will embody your version of change when you're at Stern. So spend some time doing research on Stern's resources so you can really clearly say what change will mean for you when you're on campus. Perhaps it's getting involved with a certain club. Maybe it's changing yourself through its studio offering. Who knows? It all depends on you, and it can tie to your goals. Keep that in mind as well, but it could also be more extracurricular. It all depends on you, but it will require some research into Stern to answer this essay prompt well. The last question that Stern asks in its application is my favorite essay question of all, and is referred to as the pick six. Stern technically defines it as personal expression, but you'll see why they say pick six. That's because Stern gives you an opportunity to pick up to 6 images that encapsulate who you are, your values, your interests, your experiences, whatever it might be. You have a whopping 3 sentences to sort of title this piece of work of yours. And for each image, you get 1 sentence to explain what the image is or how we should interpret it. Basically, what do you want the reader, or the viewer in this case, to take away from the image you're sharing? For this one, I really encourage you to think broadly about who you are. Don't stay constrained to the office. Think about childhood. Think about college. Think about how you spend your time out of the office. Think about your family, your friends. Think about mentors. Think about projects, ways that you've learned to code, or successes at work. You can definitely involve work in this, but you have a lot more opportunity. Through the years, Stern has had a version of this, and I can't tell you just how many creative ways, not that the picture themselves are necessarily creative. Don't waste time being like, I'm going to find the most perfect picture. No, that's not what this is about. You're not going to photography school or art school, right? You're going to business school. But how can you pick that picture to really symbolize who you are and really have fun with that 1 sentence? Cram a lot in so that the school gets a good sense of who you are. Have fun with it most of all. Lastly, I will say that Stern also includes an optional essay. And with Stern, as with many schools, it really is optional. And I would even say really only if you have a red flag. So you should use this optional essay if your GMAT or GPA or your GRE is lower than the average, if you have some sort of unsightly grades on your transcript, if there was some sort of hiccup at work. That's what you're going to be using your optional essay for. The vast majority of applicants will leave it blank. That's fine. If you do need to use it, that's fine too. Just remember, this isn't just a blank essay, a spot for you to cut and paste an essay you're proud of from another school into this one. That's just going to annoy them. So those are my tips for Stern. Definitely reach out to Gatehouse if we can help with it. And by all means, definitely have fun with that Pick 6.